with your hands on your belly, notice breath. So the only thing right now to do is to breathe a little bit more intentionally. And see if you can allow your inhales to expand through the belly. So allow that belly to lift towards your hands, and your hands might float up some. And then as you exhale, draw the belly away from your hands. And see if you might feel that lower back get a bit closer to the ground. And then continue with that cycle of breath. And then as you breathe and you notice the body moving with your breath, you might feel that there's some adjustments that you could do with your back or with your head or with your neck. So feel free to do that. You might be able to lengthen through the back of the neck just a little bit more. You might be able to let your shoulder blades drop towards the ground a little further. You might be able to broaden through that mid-back, those back ribs. And then see if you can breathe a bit more through the nose. And sometimes the first breaths in practice are kind of all over the place. But eventually see if you can find a bit more of a uniform breath. Those inhales more or less the length of your exhales. And controlling that cycle of breath. So allowing the inhale just to lengthen a little bit more. And the same with your exhale. We'll take a few more moments here, just paying attention to that breath. And inviting some softness in the jaw and around your eyes. Take one more inhale. Exhale. And then with your next inhale, let's open those arms out into a T. Your elbows could be extended, or you could have a bend in your elbows. See if palms facing up works okay for those shoulders. And then we're just going to window wipe those knees from side to side. So start easy, breathing in at center. And then just lowering those knees towards the right on the exhale. And then bringing yourself back through center. And then lowering to the left as you exhale. And a couple more times on each side. With your own breath. Finding some movement through your hip. And also notice some rotation through that lower back. And the next time that your knees come back through center, if you feel even on both sides, let those knees rest against one another. And then once again, bring your hands to your belly. Take a full inhale. And take a full exhale. Now walk your feet to hip width. Those knees are bent. So you're coming into a bridge pose. Your arms are going to come by your side. Heels kind of close to your sit bones. And then lift your hips on the inhale. And again, not too high, just lift, explore, exhale, and then lower. But do it with control, so don't let gravity just pull your hips down. Lift on the inhale. Lower as you exhale. And again, inhale and lift. And exhale and lower. This time we're going to lift and we're going to hold there. And as you stay in your bridge pose, make a point of pushing through your arms And then push through your heels and see if you can find a little lift through your toes and wiggle them. Gaze is down the midline. Maybe your eyes are closed. Breathing in and breathing out. And one more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lowering those hips back to the mat. And then bringing your right knee in towards your chest. So your hands could go around your shin or behind your thigh. And just give that knee a squeeze. Inhale. And exhale. And then release that right foot and do the same thing with the left. Left knee comes in. Give it a squeeze. Push that lower back into the mat. Another breath. And then release that left foot back to the ground. Open up those arms again into a T. Find a bit more space between your feet and then drop your knees all the way towards the left side. Pause here for a moment. Maybe walk your right arm by your ear, reaching those right fingers away from that right knee. Take a full breath in. Stretch through the right side of the body. Take a full breath out. And then open those arms out into a T. Bring your knees back through center. And then take it to the other side. Knees towards the right side. And then maybe that left arm walks all the way back by your ear. It's resting on the ground, so not too much effort. And find that space in the left side of the body. Breath in. And a breath out. Bring those knees back through center. Bring those hands again to the belly. Let the knees rest against one another. Give yourself a breath in. And a breath out. Now with your next inhale, bring your left knee in. And then see if you can extend your right leg all the way out onto the mat. Push down through that right heel and take a full breath in. And as you exhale, try to lift your forehead towards that left knee. As you do this, press that lower back down and really engage through your right leg, your right glute. Breath in. And a breath out. And then release the head. And from here, draw that left knee over towards the right armpit. So you're coming into a bit of a reclined twist. You're rolling over onto the right side of the body, but you're keeping your chest open towards the ceiling. Maybe your left arm goes out into a T. Breath in. And a breath out. And then bring yourself back through center. Squeeze that left knee in. And then once again, bring the forehead towards that knee. Some of you will stay here, hands around the shin or the thigh. Some of you might release those hands. See if you can keep your head, torso where it is, and reach your arms forward. As if you were trying to reach for that right foot. Push that lower back into the mat. Breath in. And a breath out. And then release that back body down and switching those legs. Bring the right knee in, squeeze it in, and then lengthen your left leg out. Rest it on the ground, but keep it active. Hands around shin or thigh. Breathe in. And as you exhale, see if you can bring your forehead towards that right knee. Try to keep your jaw, eyes, face relaxed. Breath in. Lower back pushes down. And breath out. Another inhale. And as you exhale, lowering the head, lowering that upper back, and then moving that right knee over towards the left side. So roll onto the left side of the body, but keep your chest open towards the ceiling, and your right arm might come out into a T towards the right side. You don't have to take the twist very far. You know, your leg doesn't even have to reach the ground on the other side. Just a gentle recline twist, breathing in and out. And then gently bring that knee back through center, squeeze it again towards the chest, and then we're going to lift that head again towards that knee. And again, maybe staying here, make sure that you're pushing that lower back down, your left leg is active, maybe your arms reach towards the top of your mat. So towards that left foot. Breath in and a breath out. Nice job. One more inhale And then as you exhale, gently releasing down and bringing both knees into your chest. Let's take a moment here, rock a bit from side to side. Give that back body a bit of a massage. And if you need to, draw those knees in a bit and lift your sacrum, maybe even lift your feet up a bit as if you were trying to roll back. And now we're going to lift those legs all the way up towards the ceiling. So 2 options, legs extended all the way up, ankles, knees, and hips aligned, or bend into those knees, and your shins this time are going to be, or your calves, parallel to the ground. Okay, so couple options here. I'm going to do the legs straight, but again, remember, you can do the knees bent version. Your hands can rest on your thighs or outer hips. Take a full breath in and take a full breath out. Make it a bit more active. So push through your heels, push through the soles of the feet, push that lower back down. Take another inhale. And now as you exhale, see if you can keep your left leg where it is and gently lower the right leg to hover over the mat. So it's not lowering all the way down, it's just going to hover. Okay. If you notice strain in the lower back, try the knee bent version. Okay, so the knee bent version would be extending through that knee and then hovering, but keeping the other leg lifted with the knee bent. And then bringing that leg, right leg back up and then switching sides. So right leg stays lifted, stay where it is. And then with control, lower that left leg to hover over your mat. Breathing in, pressing that lower back down. Breathing out. Nice job. Another breath in and another breath out. And then we'll do it one more time each side. When you're ready, left leg is up, right leg is going to lower, hovering over the mat. And if you're doing it with the knees bent, keep that more or less 90-degree angle with the leg that is lifted. And then inhale, right leg comes back and switching sides, left leg lowers, exhale. And again, you want to use that core, try not to strain lower back, breathing in and breathing out. With your next inhale, leg lifts, bend both knees, draw the heels towards the glutes. So now really passive here with this, with those knees bent, and then hug those knees in, and again, maybe a rock from side to side. Full inhale and full exhale. And then planting those feet, bring them wide as your mat. Let your knees rest against one another. And once again, we're going to go into those window wiper legs. So you're welcome to do it with your hands at your belly or your arms out into a T. When you're ready, lower your knees to the right. Bring them back through center. Lower them to the left. And again, center and to the right. And center and to the left. Now the next time that your knees are to the right, pause there. Take a full inhale and take a full exhale. And take it back through center and then all the way to the left and pause. Breath in and a breath out. Knees coming back through center. We're going to make our way up into a seat. So a couple options. You could rock forward and back and see if you can bring your torso all the way up, or if you prefer, bring your knees to the side and use your hands to rise up. If you're rocking forward and back and it feels good on your spine, you could even come up onto those sit bones and then roll back, let those legs go overhead, and then come back up onto those sit bones, balance for a moment, and then go back. And then the next time that you're on your sit bones, come up and pause there. Bring the soles of the feet together and the knees go wide. Okay. See if you can bring your hands around your ankles and scoot those sit bones towards your heels a little bit closer. Allow the soles of the feet to open up so your knees can drop, and then take a full breath in. Pull on those ankles so that you lift through the spine, and then as you exhale, see if you can go forward and down with that chest. Breath in and a breath out. One more inhale and exhale. And now let's lift that spine on the inhale, and we're going to bring the right leg out to the side. Left heel is going to come in towards that right inner thigh. Both sit bones are well planted, and remember, if you need to, bring a blanket under those sit bones to give yourself a little lift. Right toes are drawing to the shin, so right leg is strong and engaged. Reach your arms overhead, breathing in. And then as you exhale, bring your right hand towards that right leg and find a side stretch through the left side of the body. As you inhale, bring yourself back through center. And then on your exhale, we're going to plant that left hand kind of diagonal, continuing your right leg. And then we're going to come onto that left shin and lift. Come onto your right foot and then right arm towards the ceiling, and see if you can find a lot of space in the right side of the body and the torso. And then return those sit bones to the floor, right hand towards the right leg, and find that side stretch for the left side. So let's try that a couple more times. Come back through center, plant your left hand, and you've got to calculate kind of where that left hand should plant so that then you can lift and your shoulder and wrist are more or less in line. Okay, getting that stretch through the right side, return your sit bones, right hand towards that right leg, and find your side stretch. Nice job. One more, just like that. Coming back through center. Exhale, plant that left hand, come onto that left shin, open up right side, squeeze through your glutes, and then return those sit bones down, right hand towards the right leg, and just pause here in this side stretch. So one thing that you want to watch here is not to round forward, right? So see if you can keep your chest open, so don't worry about how far over you go. But see if you can keep your shoulders more or less stacked. And then your right arm is giving a little push into that right leg. Breath in and a breath out. Coming back through center on the inhale, reach your arms tall. And then on your exhale, lower those hands straight in front of you. So now we're folding forward. The right leg stays out to the side. Any amount of folding that is available. And see if you can first go through the flexion of the hips. So you first go forward and then let yourself round, let the head drop. Notice your right knee is still pointing up towards the ceiling. Your right toes are still drawing towards the shin. And you can give a little push through that right heel down towards the ground. Full breath. And then rising up, inhale. You can reach your arms overhead. And as you exhale, lower those arms all the way down. Without using your hands, can you bend into your right knee, bring it in, and then extend your left leg out to the side. Right heel goes towards the left inner thigh. And again, think about this. The leg is going out, right? It's not straight out in front of you. It's open. Once you've got your both sit bones planted, we'll do all of that on this side. Okay, so let's see what happens. Reach your arms up on the inhale. As you exhale, left hand towards that left leg and find that stretch through the right side now of the body. As you inhale, bring yourself back through center. Now your right hand is going to plant a little further from you, and then come onto that right shin. Use your right hand, and you might come onto the sole of that left foot. Push and lift, and then return those sit bones to the ground. Left hand towards your left leg, and find that stretch through the right side of the body. Okay, we'll do it 2 more times. You're more than welcome to do it with your own breath, your own pace. As you find this side body stretch, lifting those sit bones, give your glutes a little squeeze. And keep that left leg active as you find the stretch towards the left side. And one more time. And back. And find that side stretch. And let's pause here for a moment. And just take that check in, notice how your torso is positioned. Could you open it up a little bit more? And if that means lifting a bit more, do so. As if you were trying to turn your chest towards the ceiling, maybe your gaze is free to lift up. Maybe your chin turns up too. Breath in and a breath out. Returning through center, arms are going to lift and we're folding straight forward again here. So lowering those hands, walking those fingers forward, but encourage that flexion through your hips and then allow your spine to round and the head to drop. Keep that left leg active. A lot of times when we go forward folding with the torso, the leg will go with us. Try not to do that. Toes are still drawing towards the shin and the knee is pointing towards the ceiling. Full inhale and a full exhale. With your next inhale, torso lifts. And then from here, bend into both knees and plant your feet. We're going to find a reverse table. So you want to plant your feet more or less hip width and at a distance that when you lift up, it will allow your knees to your shoulders to kind of flatten out. So your hands are going to come behind you. Your palms or your fingers could be turned out to the sides or towards the hips. See what's more comfortable. And then push through your feet and lift those hips off the ground. Breath in and a breath out. Try to push the chest up between the shoulders and then squeeze through your glutes. Another inhale. And then as you exhale, return down to the mat. Bring the soles of the feet together once again. Knees go wide, hands to your ankles. Lift through the spine, breath in. And then find any amount of fold forward that is available to you. Breathing out. Another inhale. And another exhale. And let's do it one more time. So let's lift, bring those knees up, feet hip width, hands behind you. Find, the right distance between your hands and your feet. And then when you're ready, push into those feet, lift those sit bones, squeeze through your glutes, lift that chest through those shoulders. Nice job. Breathing in and breathing out. One more inhale, wiggle those toes. And then as you exhale, return those sit bones to the mat. And we're going to make our way up to stand. So maybe you cross your ankles, bring them really close to your glutes, and you might be able to come up without your hands. If that's not happening, use your hands and then rise all the way up to stand. So mountain pose, uncross the legs if you had them crossed. It took us kind of half an hour to get up to standing today. So let's find those feet well planted, align ankles, knees, hips and shoulders. Maybe give your shoulders a little roll. Close your eyes if you're feeling stable here. And tune back into how things feel rather than how things look or any distractions through the vision. Take a deep breath in. Take a long breath out. If you haven't already, turn the palms to face forward. Find a bit more space in your chest. And then as you inhale, reach your arms overhead, opening eyes, maybe looking at your palms as they touch. And on your exhale, right arm down by your side and then reach up and over with your left. Bring yourself back through center, inhale, and taking it over to the other side as you exhale. Back through center, inhale, interlace those hands overhead, those fingers, turn the palms towards the ceiling, full breath in. And then as you exhale, lower those hands behind you and interlace them at the lower back. Send those knuckles down, open the chest, inhale. And on your exhale, we're folding forward. So bend into those knees, reach your chest forward and down. Once the head drops, those arms maybe lift towards the ceiling. Remember, keep that bend in the knees, protect those hamstrings, so don't overdo it. Breath in and a breath out. Release those hands, bring them to your shins. Halfway lift, so look for that flat back. And then on your exhale, fold. 2 more, just like that. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And 1 more. Inhale, halfway lift. And now on your exhale, plant your hands and step your feet back, downward facing dog. So that upside down V shape with your body, those sit bones lifting up, those heels dropping, the knees can be bent, and then use your hands to really push the floor away, sending your chest towards your thighs. The neck is relaxed, the head between the arms, you might look from side to side. Full inhale and a full exhale. And now moving between down dog and plank. So using the next inhale to roll out the spine, bring the shoulders over those wrists, and then as you exhale, move back into downward facing dog, lifting up and back those hips. And 2 more times. Inhale, coming out into your plank. Don't rush it. And exhale, moving back into downward facing dog. And 1 more, just like that. Inhale brings you out into your plank. And exhale, return to downward facing dog. Take another inhale here. And then on your exhale, bend your knees and lower them to the mat, coming into a table pose. So align your hands under your shoulders, your knees under your hips. As you inhale, drop the belly, bring the chest forward, lift the gaze. And on your exhale, round your spine, push the floor away, chin to the chest. And again, inhale, cow pose. And exhale, into cat. 1 more time, inhale. And exhale as we round. And now neutral spine. With your next inhale, your left leg will rise. And then as you exhale, draw that left knee into your chest. So find some rounding through your spine. Inhale, lengthen out, neutral spine. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, cross that left knee towards your right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. And now from here, bring your left foot over towards the right side so it's crossing behind the right leg, and then plant the ball of the foot. Push through that heel. Keep your hips square towards the mat. Your inner thighs are drawing towards one another. And then send your gaze over towards that right side. So you're looking at your left foot. So left side of the body gets an extra stretch here. Breathing in and breathing out. And then return through center. We're going to find some half circles with that left leg. So working those glutes and those outer hips. So as you inhale, left leg comes back through center. And now as you exhale, that left foot comes over towards the left side. And see if you can tap the floor. And then inhale, take it all the way back. And then cross it over and tap the floor. And again, back. All the way over to the left, see if you can tap. So really control this movement. Inhale, lift, take it back. And then all the way crossing over towards the right. 1 more time, just like that. Bring it back. Over towards the left. Nice job. And take it back. And then over towards the right. Now pause here. We're going to bend into that left knee. And now when you bend the left knee is going to be behind the right. Maybe come onto the top of that left foot. And then we're going to shift those hips forward and back. Okay, so as you breathe in, bring your hips forward. As you breathe out, send your hips towards those heels. And again, forward and back. And forward and back. Nice. And then let's come back through center, unwind those legs. You might give your left leg a little stretch out behind you, and then drop that left knee, coming back into your table pose. Before we do anything else, let's find puppy pose for a moment. So your hands go wide, and then they walk forward, but your hips and your knees stay aligned. Chest is dropping towards the ground. Maybe you come onto your forearms. See if you can feel a stretch through your chest and through your armpits. And then make a point of lifting your sit bones just that bit more. Full inhale. And exhale. One more. And then coming out of this, back into your table pose, walking your hands back towards those knees. Find your alignment. Once again, hands under shoulders, knees under those hips. And we'll do all of that on the right side. So as you're ready, your right leg is going to rise. And then on your exhale, knee to chest. So draw that knee in and round your spine. Inhale, lengthen it out. Exhale, right knee towards right elbow. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, knee towards left elbow, crossing underneath you. Inhale, lengthen. And now cross that right foot over towards the left side so your knee stays extended and lifted and you're on the ball of that right foot. Squeeze those inner thighs towards one another. Don't let your right hip lift up so it's pointing down. And then we'll get that stretch through the right side. So gaze over towards that right foot, which is on the left side. Breath in and a breath out. And another push through that right heel. And return the torso through center. And we're finding those half circles now with that right leg. So try and control the movement, slow it down. As you inhale, the right leg comes back through center, lifts. And then exhale, take it over towards the right side and tap the floor. And then bring it back through center. And now take it over towards the left and tap. And again, and center. You really feel the work through the glute muscles and hip. And center. And left, and one more time. And the next time that your right foot is over to the left side, we're going to bend into that right knee. Now the right knee is going to be behind the left, okay? And come onto the top of the foot of that right foot if that's comfortable. And then we're going back and forth with the hips. So bring those hips forward and then send those hips back. And then again, bring them forward and take them back. And forward and back. And then come back through center, unwind the legs, right leg might extend out behind you, and then return that knee to the mat. And once again, find your puppy pose. So knees and hips in line, hands walk forward, wide. You can find a bend in your elbows here. So your elbows are bending kind of out towards the edges of your mat. And then allow that chest to drop towards the floor. A few cycles of breath here. Try to soften through the jaw, through the eyes. Another breath in. And another breath out. And then use your next inhale to walk your hands back towards you. And then from your table pose, tuck your toes and make your way into downward facing dog. And as you find your down dog, find any movement that might feel good. If you want to bend and straighten your knees or lift and lower your heels. Take about 5 cycles of breath. And check in with that upper back. Make sure that it stays broad. Left shoulder blades toward the left, right shoulder blade towards the right. Space in the back of your neck. Another inhale. And exhale. Now with your next inhale, walk your hands towards your feet. So you're going to come towards the back of your mat. And then find a forward fold here. Hold on to opposite elbows. Let the head hang. Slight bend in those knees. Push through the heels. Lift through your sit bones. And then release those elbows. Bring your hands to your hips, chin to your chest. With a bend in those knees, begin to lift that spine. Head is the last to lift, and we'll make our way all the way up into a standing position. Arms by your side with your palms facing forward. All right, so I think every time we find ourselves in the back of the mat, recently I'm wanting to do that kind of working balance thing. So, so that's what's up for today too. So option of going onto the balls of the feet, and then option of keeping kind of a little bend in those knees as you walk forward, so small steps, or option of finding a bit more of a lift of the knees as you step forward, so kind of almost like a bit more of a marching walk towards the top of the mat. But again, if you came onto the balls of the feet, just land again onto your heels and just take a moment, take a full breath in, take a full breath out. And then set your gaze towards the top of the mat, on the wall, or anything that's in that direction, and see if you can keep your gaze there. And then make sure that you're breathing as you find this kind of balance challenge. Okay, so those are the main challenges. Holding your breath is going to make it more difficult, and letting your eyes travel around is going to make it even more challenging. Okay, so when you're ready, lifting those heels, find yourself on the balls of the feet, engage through your glutes, draw the belly towards your spine. Hands could be at your waist or at your heart, and then slowly make your way forward and try to do small steps. So as many steps as you can fit in the length of your mat, and really feel the work and lifting, the stability maybe, and try talking, it's even more challenging. And some days balance is, right there. Some days is extra challenge. So once you get to the top of the mat, see if you can stay on the balls of the feet for a moment. Take another breath in. And then on your exhale, we're going to lower, but lower halfway first. Pause. Then lower 3/4. See if you can hover those heels. And then lower all the way down. Wiggle your toes. Relax those shoulders, maybe give them a roll, wiggle your fingers. Take a full breath in. And take an open mouth exhale. And then reach your arms tall, breath in. And on your exhale, bend in those knees and fold forward. Halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen through that spine, and exhale, fold. In your forward fold, hold onto opposite elbows and then bend into your right knee, straightening through your left. Get that hamstring stretch. And then straighten through that right knee, bend into your left and get that right hamstring stretch. One more time each side, bend into the right. And switch, bend into the left. And then with your next inhale, bend into both knees. We're coming into chair pose. Release those elbows and lift your torso. Reach your arms overhead. As you exhale, lower those arms down by your side and even reach them back. Again, inhale and lift arms overhead. Exhale and lower. And inhale, lift. And exhale to lower. Now with your next inhale, arms will lift and legs will straighten. Wrap your right hand around your left wrist and then pull your left wrist up and over towards the right side. Bring yourself back through center and switch. Left hand around right wrist, pull that right wrist up and over and get that stretch through the right side of the body. And inhale, bring yourself back through center. Bring those hands behind you. Find the awkward interlace of your fingers. Knuckles reach down, chest opens, breath in. As you exhale, bend into those knees and fold forward. Once the head is down, maybe those knuckles reach up towards the ceiling. Breath in. And a breath out. One more inhale. And exhale. Releasing those hands, halfway lift on your inhale and back into downward facing dog as you exhale. Push the floor away with those hands. Take another inhale and another exhale. Now as you inhale, come out into your plank pose. We're going to lower onto the belly. So actually let's all lower those knees. So when you lower your knees in your plank, your knees are behind your hips. Make sure you're not coming into a table pose with your knees under your hips. And then take a moment here and think about your chest and the top of the head reaching forward. So your shoulder blades are going to go towards your back ribs or towards your hips. Okay? And then keep that reach forward through the top of your head. Elbows begin to bend. And with control, that chest lowers all the way to the ground. And then once you're on the ground, untuck your toes, relax those legs. Bring the forearms in front of you and relax your forehead onto the forearms. Take a deep breath in, let the belly expand into the mat. And take a long breath out, drawing the belly away from the mat. And again, breath in. And a breath out. We're going to find a little bit of cobra work, so back bending. So now strength through the back body. We started practice with strengthening through the front body, that core, but the core goes all around the spine, all around that torso. So now, as we strengthen through the back body, we're also working, stability through the spine and that core strength too. So the hands are going to come under your shoulders, your elbows are close to your rib cage. Your gaze is going to be down and then engage through your legs. So tops of the feet are pressing down and your glutes are squeezing. And then try not to rely on your hands too much in order to lift that torso. So when you're ready, inhale and rise. Don't worry about how high. And then exhale and lower. And if you really want to test things out, just hover your hands over the mat. Breathing in to lift, breathing out to lower. And again, inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. And inhale, lift. Feel the shoulder blades squeeze. Exhale, lower. Last one, breathing and lift. And on your exhale, release forearms in front of you once again. Forehead rests on them. Really relax through those legs, heels out. Wiggle your hips from side to side. One more breath. And then a little bit more with that back body. So those arms are going to come out in front of us, so as if you were trying to reach straight in front. Your legs are out behind you. Once again, find a bit more action through those legs. Squeeze through the glutes, keep them hip width. And then we're going to lift opposite arm and leg. Gaze down, inhale, right arm and left leg lift up. Keeping the elbows and knee extended, keeping your hips, your torso on the ground. Exhale and lower, or your hips and belly on the ground. Inhale, now switch, left hand and right leg will lift. Exhale and lower. And again, switch, right hand, left leg, inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. And inhale, switch left hand and right leg. And exhale, lower. Now with your next inhale, see if you can keep your palms planted, your chest down, and just lift your legs, both legs at the same time. And exhale, lower. So knees stay extended, you're just using those glutes, that lower back. And now as you inhale, bend your elbows, 90-degree angles with those elbows. Palms are facing down, gaze is down, and we're just going to lift those arms and that chest. Think about lifting through your elbows. Breath in. And then on your exhale, and release. Bring your hands under your shoulders and shift all the way into a child's pose. Sit bones up and back. Chest towards your thighs. Maybe you're holding onto opposite elbows. Head rests on those forearms. If you have your block or a pillow or a blanket, a bit more support for the head, you could place your forehead on that. And if your knees don't bend enough for your sit bones to rest on your heels, a pillow, a blanket behind those knees is really supportive. And it allows your hips to relax a bit more. We'll stay for 5 to 8 breaths. Just tuning into the sensations in that body. And see if you can feel how your breath might change some of those sensations, make them a bit more intense or a bit less. And then we'll use the next inhale to slowly lift that spine, stacking one vertebra over the other. See if you can come to stand on your knees, move your feet to one side, and then flex through your hips and lower your sit bones all the way behind you. Feet come forward. We're going to find a few seated cows and cats with the feet wide and the knees wide. So knees will be bent. Your hands come onto your shins, and then use your hands on your shins to pull yourself. So as you inhale, pull yourself forward. Think about chest coming forward. Think about gaze lifting, throat opening. And then as you exhale, hold yourself here, but extend through your elbows and let yourself round and roll back some. And then move like that a few more times. Inhale and bring yourself forward. Open up through the chest. Exhale and round. And going back. Belly to spine, chin to chest. And again, inhale to come forward. Exhale and to move back. And one more. Breath in. Keep your feet planted. And a breath. And then bring yourself back up. Release those hands, bring your feet hip width, and let's come down onto that mat. So knees bent, feet planted, hip width, arms forward. Feel free to do this coming to your side if you wish. But if you're ready, take a full breath in. As you exhale slowly, releasing yourself down, keep the chin to the chest, head, or the heaviness of the head is not going to drag the spine down. And then slowly as you can, section by section, lowering that spine all the way to the ground, and the head will be the last thing to arrive. And then bring those knees into your chest. Once again, rock from side to side. Maybe some circles with those knees. And then bring yourself back through center with those legs, and then send those legs all the way up towards the ceiling. So you could do this with the knees bent or the knees extended, but we're going to open up those legs away from one another. So flex through your feet and keep your legs active as you do this. Your hands can be on your outer thighs, and then let your left leg go to the left and your right leg go to the right. As you do this, your sacrum is planted. So we're using this to also ground through that back body. So think about, anytime we do forward folds with the legs wide is a nice stretch for the lower back. So this is the same shape, but we're on the ground. So the back body now is completely supported on the ground, but we're still finding that opening through those legs that will allow that lower back to broaden, that sacrum area to broaden too. So hands can be under thighs, or if you want a little bit more opening through the legs, you could add your hands to your inner thighs. So add a bit more weight to those legs, encourage a little bit more opening. And try to keep your face relaxed, your shoulders relaxed. And keeping that action through your legs, so you're pushing out through your heels. And your toes are drawing towards your shins. Another breath in. And another breath out. And then we'll use those hands to help those legs come back towards one another. And if your knees were extended, let's bend into those knees, heels towards the glutes. And then plant your right foot. And then plant your left foot. Gentle bridge pose, heels close to the sit bones, arms by your side. Lift those hips, breath in. And lower those hips, breath out. So don't take your hips too high, just keep it at a neutral bridge. Again, lift on the inhale. And lower as you exhale. And just one more like that, breath in. And a breath out. Bring your feet a bit wider, let your knees rest against one another. Pause. Your hands could rest at your belly. You might bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your chest. And now just notice the movement of your breath. Maybe the sound of your breath. And finding stillness for these last moments of practice. If this place feels comfortable, stay. If you'd rather lengthen your legs out, you could do that. If you'd rather come onto your side or find a seat, you could do that too. Whenever you get to the place and to make that transition now into Shavasana, into that moment of rest and pause, you might take a full breath in and then a long open mouth exhale. And let's see if we can embrace the not doing. And so when we stop doing, we might be able to tap into being, and being might be enough right now. Nothing else to do. And then as we begin to find our way back, check in with your breath. Find a deeper inhale, a longer exhale. And then with that breath, gently move the body, your fingers, your toes, your ankles, your wrists. Maybe the chin moves from shoulder to shoulder. Maybe your eyeballs move under your eyelids. If it feels good to stretch those arms overhead, you could do that. And then eventually, if you were on your back, roll onto one side of the body. Bring those knees towards your chest. Support your head in your arms. Give yourself a breath in and a breath out. And then push your hands into the ground and let's make our way into a comfortable seat. We'll end practice together. Your hands could rest on your thighs, it could rest at your heart. Just find that lifted spine, shoulders away from ears, and remain soft through the face. We always end by acknowledging the practice. So a practice that never ends being a practice. And then we acknowledge ourselves for practicing today. We acknowledge then all those who practice with us, and not only today, but at any time. And then all those that in one way or another make it possible. And we end with a word that talks about connection. A word that means that the light in me recognizes and honors the light in you. Namaste.